Have alligators just been confirmed for Planet Zoo? Let's talk about that. Hello everyone, today is another Planet Zoo news day. There are two things I'd like to talk about today. First off, a new animal that may have been confirmed through article that I've already mentioned. It is the alligator. So, I'd like to before we talk about that, the second thing I'd like to talk about is the weather developer journal that was posted not too long ago. So, yeah. But let's first talk about the alligator, because that is why a lot of you are probably here. So, I stumbled across an IGN Planet Zoo article, and in this article, as you're probably seeing right here, it says others, like alligators, are territorial and will get agitated if you cram too many in a small space. Okay, well, before we talk about that, this article really doesn't give any other exciting news besides the alligator, but alligator. So, personally, I do expect the alligator to be in the game. It just kind of makes sense. So far, all we know is the saltwater crocodile. Whether that is obviously, it can't be the only crocodilian we get. Now about that texture, that crocodilian texture we saw not too long ago on the Mystery Monday, where the spotted hyena was basically revealed. A lot of people suspect that that is a new crocodilian, and I believe it too. I do not think that that is the saltwater crocodile. I believe that's something different, but I also do not think that's the alligator that I now suspect we will be getting. I believe we'll be getting 3 crocodilians at launch. Obviously, the saltwater crocodile, the American alligator. What's really important to remember is that, because it's the summertime, take a delicious, nutritious, it's not really nutritious, but take a delicious saltsicle, or, a salty pop. Anything to keep yourself from not 100% saying this is true, because there's been a lot of animals revealed through articles, but this one was published by a pretty reliable source. IGN is a pretty good gaming, they're not all about games, but they're largely based on games. So I do trust them, and I do suspect that this means we'll be getting alligators. Of course, it's still not 100%, so basically take a grain of salt. But I do suspect alligators will be at launch. So I think it'll be alligators, gharials, because it's just that texture really looks like a gharial, and I think a lot of other people kind of think that as well. But that, and also our already well-known boy, saltwater crocodile. Now, if this is really the full roster of crocodilians at launch, and I think it may just be, that's a pretty good roster. The only thing I would have liked, obviously it's not going to change now, but instead of saltwater crocodile, I would have done the Nile. So then we would have had a crocodilian from 3 different continents around the world. That being Africa, North America, and Asia. That would just be so much better, because now whenever I build a crocodilian exhibit in Planet Zoo, it's going to have to be an Asian variety. That's nothing important to be upset about. Basically, I really do suspect that this is a hint towards alligators being in the game, and obviously it has to be the American. Why would it be the Chinese? Seriously, who would ever see a Chinese alligator in a Zoo Tycoon game? So, I really do suspect that this is a hint towards alligators, whether we see it before launch or at launch. Yeah, I think alligators are going to be in the game, along with that other unspecified crocodile, which I don't think is the alligator. I do, like a lot of other people, think it is the gharial. And of course, our boy saltwater crocodile. Now, if you are curious to see this article yourself, I will post it in the description down below, so you can check it out for yourself. And, I don't know, in the comments down below, I'd love to hear your own opinion. Do you think that this is a hint towards the alligator being in the game? Like I said, I personally do. Also, this is worth the mention. From what I've heard, there are other sources that have said, there are other animals that I've seen mentioned in the game that I haven't gotten any reliable source yet. There is, actually through Wikipedia, which I know is not the most trustworthy site. There were a couple other animals that I got word of that didn't have any reliable source, and one of these was the alligator, but now we have a source for it, so I'm starting to suspect that maybe other animals, and I'll go ahead and tell you what they are. Apparently there was an unspecified buffalo, ostrich, flamingo, what was another one? I believe it was, I forgot. It's just some of the animals that were unspecified and I found through Wikipedia, but for all we know, maybe they're not correct. And like I said, the alligator was part of that, but now we actually have a source. So could maybe soon we be seeing more sources for buffaloes, flamingos, ostrich, etc. because we've got to be getting close to seeing more animals. This was just kind of a quick, unconfirmed look at, unconfirmed announcement of the alligator, but yeah, I kind of rambled on for long enough now about the alligator. I hope I've brought it to a lot of people's attention. As I said before, please go down in the comments and let me know if you think that this is a hint towards the alligator. And then now we will go ahead and begin talking about the Weather Developer Journal that was released not too long ago. So let's do that. Hey guys, quick mid-video update. I didn't even realize this, but while I was planning to make this video, just talking about the alligator and the new Weather Developer Journal, I had no idea, but Frontier posted another new screenshot. So yeah, it looks like we're doing something else than just talking about those two things. So let's quickly go over a brand new African wild dog screenshot. Okay, so new screenshot. I'm sorry, I know I said this was, it's about Alligator Developer Journal, but this really just came out of nowhere. So let's talk about it. They posted this new screenshot. Also, before I read to you what they said, this is clearly the same African wild dog exhibit that they posted that staff pass screenshot of, if you remember that. So this is clearly a whole new zoo that they're waiting to show us, hopefully during Gamescom. But anyway, they posted this screenshot saying, guests visit your zoo not just to watch your animals, but to also learn about them, their habitat, and their needs. Our in-game Zoopedia has carefully researched and will automatically display information of the animals whose habitat you link to the sign to. Okay, so, wow. The screenshot looks really cool. As you can see, okay, well, we have previously seen these screens already. During the E3 gameplay demo, we got a look at the springbok and giraffe screen. They did not display as much information as it is right here. So they already said that as you do more research, more and more news will appear on these Zoopedia screens. Hopefully you're getting a closer look at it now. There's a lot to look at. It shows you the continent of origin, the scientific name, and I'm sure as you go along. Well, also, what is that? Right next to the country of origin, there is like a bunch of, I think that is numbers. I don't know, one is particularly in red highlight. I don't know what that is. The one I'm looking at from my phone right now, because it's not on the screen. It's all blurry, but hopefully you're getting a better look at it than I am. But other than the really cool Zoopedia screen, definitely the best look we've had at one. In the background you can still see it's the African wild dog exhibit. You can see the zookeeper taking the time to do what zookeepers do and feeding them. And I must say the African wild dog does look really cool. And also, there is that water dish that we've seen before, right next to the Zoopedia screen. But this was just like a quick little screenshot that popped up out of nowhere that was totally worth the mention because it is really cool to get another look at a Zoopedia screen. I cannot wait to see more about this kind of stuff. Educating the guests is going to be quite a big factor in Planet Zoo, and this screenshot is perfect for that. Perfect to showcase that. So yeah, that was a quick little mid-video update. New screenshot, had to talk about it, and now we will finally move on to the Developer Journal. Okay, so I know I keep bringing up other things before we start talking about the Developer Journal, but they posted the Developer Journal with a little footage. This is actually really cool, so it is totally worth the mention. As I keep saying, everything about this game is totally worth the mention. And as you can see from, obviously you're seeing it now, but it is the ring-tailed lemur walking in snow, which is, first off, really cool. It's like one of the first times we've ever gotten to see the ring-tailed lemur in motion. Also, the African wild dog shaking in the rain, and the grizzly bear just chilling in the snow. It's a weather journal, so it all makes sense. They're showing the rain, snow, which are basically the two biggest weather things in the game, not counting our classic sunshine. But so yeah, now that was shown, let's start talking about the journal itself. Okay, so let's first talk about the people that they're highlighting in this. They're talking about this is about the render programmer Clement Bellet, and gameplay programmer Joshua Tanner. So I guess give these two a round of applause for creating really cool weather. Okay, so I'm going to read this part by part, and we'll highlight anything that's major about it. Okay, so let's start with the first part, said by Clement. It is very important for us to have weather in Planet Zoo because weather conditions are what really makes the difference between biomes. Switching from the savanna to a temperate climate becomes much more than a visual change. And then there's not really much we could pull from that, but I guess as you move from world to world, you have to get used to the changes in biomes. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it really must be important for each biome to be accurate. I can assume they're going to be accurate. The second thing by Joshua is, on a basic level, varying weather conditions brings a beauty and liveliness to zoos. Beyond that, they also bring out interesting behaviors in the animals. Seeking shelter in rain and snow, and taking a dive in the hot sun are a couple ways animals will react to changing weather. Every species of animal has evolved to thrive in particular climate. In bringing animals from all over the world into your zoos, you're going to encounter challenges in satisfying each species' temperature needs. Building a suitable habitat for a species far from its natural environment is always a satisfying problem to solve. Okay, so basically I think an example of what they just said is having a polar bear in a savanna biome. How will you take the time? I mean, you have to take the time to make sure this animal is more comfortable. I mean, of course, no matter what, it's not going to be as comfortable as it could be, but it's just going to be quite a challenge to incorporate other animals. It's also safe to say that you can do things like that. You can actually put a zebra in, I don't know, I'm assuming colder biomes that they're going to have. You know, you can do that, but you're going to have to work extra hard, which is so cool. I mean, that's pretty real. I mean, unrealistically, when do you actually see official real zoos being built in a frozen biome? But for the game's sake, at least it's realistic. Okay, so the next part's by Clement. Weather ranges from sunny to cloudy, light and heavy rain, snow, and a wide range of temperatures. Guests will shiver in the cold, sweat in the hot weather, and if you choose to sell them, purchase umbrellas to protect themselves. Okay, that was really cool. First off, they mentioned the different varieties of sun to cloudy, light, heavy rain, snow, and a wide range of temperatures. We've basically already seen that by now through footage of the game, and so far it looks really good. But what is really interesting is they said guests will shiver in the cold weather, sweat in the hot weather. Sweating, seeing our guests sweat, that is really cool. If that is really true, which I believe it is. And also, you can sell them umbrellas. I thought that's something natural. I mean, a lot of people have spotted it by now, but I thought people just pulled them out whenever it's snowing or raining, but you actually have a choice to sell them umbrellas. That is so cool. Okay, so moving on to the next part, Joshua. Each weather type drastically changes the atmosphere of the zoo. Weather conditions in your zoo will have a direct influence on the temperature. Over time, an animal's body temperature will tend towards its ambient temperature. If the animal is used to a significantly different temperature than what it's experiencing, its welfare will be reduced. Animals will not move about their habitat to find areas which will bring their temperature to a more comfortable value. For example, if an animal is finding themselves in too hot, they might head to their habitats late for a swim. Okay, so you have to have, I guess animals will naturally find a place to get more warm or more cold, which is so real. I mean, that's really cool. So if I guess you're in your barracks, it's raining, cold rain, and these bears are pissed, they're just gonna go run into their cave and relax. That's really awesome. I mean, I've never thought I'd seen that in a zoo game before, but I guess not until now. Okay, so the next part is by Clement. Managing temperature inside habitats is an important part of the game. Timber wolves will not thrive under the heat of a park in Sahara, nor will plain zebra enjoy the northern European climate. Placing down coolers and heaters to keep temperature within their favorite range is going to be the best tool to solve those problems. Animals will also seek shelter under trees and buildings when it rains, so make sure you build some options for them. Okay, first off, it's kind of cool that not only will they hide, they'll go anywhere where they can hide from rain or anywhere they can get warm or cold, I suppose, if you put a cooler. But so trees and buildings will actually, animals will. I mean, that's like the best way, one of the best ways animals will react with with pieces being built around them. So that is really cool. And it also mentions examples of how certain animals will not do well in other biomes. Okay, so here's the next part. We're almost done. It's really the biggest part. So, wish me luck. This is said by Joshua. As Clement said, heaters and coolers will be very useful to moderate temperatures. These handy devices allow you to increase or decrease the temperature within a small radius. Animals can seek out heaters and coolers to satisfy their temperature need. In a hot climate, coolers will be used to keep an area cool and prevent snow from melting away. Likewise, in a cold, snowy environment, heaters can be used to melt snow. Different locations around the world are naturally going to have different climates. That translates to different temperatures and probabilities for each weather type to occur. The weather changes gradually throughout the day. Selecting weather types based on the probability of them occurring in that environment. You will see a hot, sunny day immediately turn. It will become cloudier first. In Sandbox mode, you'll be able to change the weather to whatever you fancy. You can make it snow in the savannah, but it still won't get cold enough for snow to build the ground. Okay, so, wow, there was a lot in that. First off, animals will seek out warm and cold and warm heaters. They'll seek out warmth and cold, and though we've already kind of known about that, that is just, it's kind of really good to hear from an official standpoint. Also, heaters can melt snow, and I assume, I guess it's just that. Heaters can melt snow. That is amazing. I can already picture it in my mind. Placed on a heater right in a snowy biome, it's gonna melt a little circle of snow. God, it's so cool. Really awesome to hear some stuff like that is implemented. Okay, so the next part, different locations around the world, different climates. Okay. We've already known about that. Okay, so another really cool thing they mentioned is if you won't see a hot sunny day immediately turn. So basically, you're going to see the effects happen over time. It'll become cloudier first before it starts raining. And that is, once again, really cool. Also very realistic. They had to do something like that to make it more realistic. But, yeah, I mean, the changing in the sky over time, that is awesome. Also, they said in Sandbox mode you can basically do what you want, so you can have whatever weather you fancy. Apparently, they also said it could snow in the savannah, which is unrealistic. I assume that won't be the same in campaign mode, but in Sandbox, you could actually have it snow in the savannah, which is, I wouldn't do that personally. That's extremely unrealistic, but oh well, it's nice to have that option. Okay, so we're almost done. There's one last section that's actually important to talk about. Here it is. A big challenge in bringing the weather to Planet Zoo was handling sheltered areas. We knew you want to build elaborate structures, and we needed to figure out which areas were sheltered from precipitation in a believable and aesthetically pleasing way. Another interesting part was at the intersection of snow and the heaters/coolers. Having snow melt around heaters or stick early around coolers was a neat way to give temperature a visual impact beyond just the behavior of guests and animals. Okay, well, that basically just kind of sums up everything we've already heard. So there's not much to pull from that, but basically this article really does give a great look at, or gives us a great, it gives us a good look at what exactly we can expect in the weather of the game. It is definitely a fully developed system. I cannot wait to see more of it. I'm really happy to have snow and rain in my zoos, and I think a lot of other people are as well. I cannot wait to see a new biome, because I have a pretty good feeling that we'll be seeing more biomes soon. Because also, if you hear, they keep going back to the European biome and the savannah. They're clearly keeping a lot of things a secret, so yeah. Other than that, though, this has been a pretty cool video so far, in my opinion. You know, alligators, new African wild dog ZOOPEDIA screenshot, and a really cool weather developer journal. It has been an awesome Planet Zoo News day. Please, everyone, remember to hit the like button and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Planet Zoo news.